Hi, Carol here, and welcome to my craft room. And I want to give a great big shout out, thank you, huge appreciation for my previous video. I really do appreciate that. Who's behind the hands? I just had such wonderful comments. Thank you very much. And now we're going to do a Christmas card for you today. And I'm using these laser sheets that I took to my stationery store on my 140-pound cardstock, had them laser the black onto my cardstock so that I could do full foiling. And I'm using the Mink and the Heidi Swapp foils for this particular Christmas card. I decided to use the holograph foil, which is absolutely beautiful. It has that opal effect, and I used the gold. I actually print out a lot of colors because I figured that I might as well have these full sheets put aside so that I can do other projects with them. So I cut the full foil, and this is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to use the Madison die, the Madison window die, for a shaker card. And I really love the size of that die because you can use it on an A2 size card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and you just slide it into your sheet. You run it through the Mink. Actually, if I'm going to use the Mink, I figure I might as well do as many colors as I, possibly can, and still get the project done. So I think I did gold in the holograph and a blue, which I didn't use, but isn't it beautiful? And I love that you can take your cardstock into your stationery store and have them do the printing for you. One thing, it's less expensive than using your own. I don't have this type of printer to be able to do this laser printing, but it isn't that expensive to run your cardstock there. And I also had a a door die. I had it set aside on my desk, so I thought I might as well run that through too, and then just put it inside the packaging to use for future use. And I love this wreath set that I have here, and I will show you that later on, the actual manufacturer. But this holograph paper is absolutely stunning, especially on the window card. It's not too over the top as far as being too shiny, but it certainly is beautiful. And then I take this holograph paper, the foil, I run it through that die right there, and there's the Madison window die. And this one here, I can't even see. I'll have to leave a link on that one. But I run it through on the gold, and I run it through on the holograph paper with the bows, because I didn't know really which bow color I would use until I decided what kind of paper stock I was going to put behind the shaker window. Now I'm going to take some acetate, and I'm going to cut 3 sheets for behind the window here. And you'll know why I do 3 instead of 2 with the shaker card, because I decided to do a beautiful scene behind here using alcohol inks on the acetate. It looks absolutely stunning. And I had a tree stamp from, I think it's Hero Arts actually, and I got it at Michael's, and it's a beautiful tree stamp. And so I'm going to use that as my background on the shaker. And we're going to take some StazOn ink, and we are going to do a beautiful scene behind the shaker die. And then I cut an extra one, I always do that, and I put it in with the die here and set it aside for a future project. And yeah, off it goes. Yes. Now I'm going to take this wreath die, which is a penny black die, and it's called a Whirl Wreath, WHIRL wreath. And I'm taking the 3 acetate pieces here and going to cut them out so they just fit inside that window frame. And you can use any acetate. I went to the stationery store and I was able to get a nice thick box of them, like 100 sheets. And here's the wreath, the penny black wreath, and it also comes with this really nice bow. So I cut one out, like I said, in the holograph paper, and I cut one of them out in the gold, and I use both of them one on top of the other. And then you take the little bits of guts out there, and it's absolutely stunning to see how delicate it is. It doesn't take away from the window at all. As far as filling up the space of the window, it's absolutely beautiful. You can see that when you put the foil over a thick cardstock, this one I bought at my stationery store. Actually, it's 140-pound white cardstock. And if you put the foil over that and you're doing delicate dies such as this die, you can work taking the guts out and not worry about having to rip the beautiful intricate twig-like thingies on there. Yes, yeah, very technical, isn't it? This tree stamp I got at Michael's years ago, and it just has held up so beautifully, as most rubber stamps do. And it is similar to the Lovely as a Tree stamp from Stampin' Up, but I think I got this before they came out with that stamp, and it's just beautiful. And I want to set it towards the lower third of the acetate because I want to be able to see the trees behind the window, because the wreath is going to be at the top right, and not the top right, but the top right. Yes, it's one of those days. So anywho, we're going to take an Avriel pocket pouch, and I'm going to use that plastic as the palette to put down the alcohol inks. You only need a little touch on there of each of the colors, and I'm using yellow. I use gold as a contrasting color. I use green, and yeah, it was kind of hard to get that. Sometimes they dry on there. You just run it under hot water and you'll be able to get the cap off. That's what I had to do with one of them. And then I take my micro brushes and I use one of them to color. When I color on the acetate, I want to make sure that I use the part of the acetate that I stamp directly on, not the opposite side where if you touch it, it's all smooth. You want to use the textured side where you stamped. And then I just, whatever colors you want to use for your tree, I picked golds and yellows and greens. And if you dab it straight up like this, you get a little dot of a leaf. And then if you hold it on the slant like this, you get more of a elongated leaf with the micro brush. And these micro brushes are awesome for doing any kind of coloring on the back of acetate images, excuse me. And then I just drag it along the bottom, and I work with all those colors actually. I have some orange, gold, pink, all kinds of colors, and it is so relaxing to take a StazOn ink and stamp a beautiful image on the back of acetate. Take your alcohol inks and color the back of them, and then when you turn it around, it's absolutely beautiful. So I thought this would look nice to have a shaker card, to have a little bit of elements in it, of course, to shake, but to have this wonderful image. And then I found, okay, this, I want to put almost like a shading, like if the shade came down and some of the leaves fell on the ground, and I just pat some paper towel on there, and then you get the effect of shading. You can see it dark under the actual tree and then light where the sun would come in, and then you have the little dots for the leaves. It's so pretty. I actually really like doing work on acetate with alcohol inks. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I'm dabbing it off here just to make sure that when I turn it over, I don't get anything on the acetate. Now I don't want to waste this, so I took a piece of vellum, and what I do is I drag all of this onto the vellum from the plastic sheet. Then I take a baby wipe and I run it across, and it gives you that beautiful effect of having light to dark. Isn't it gorgeous? And then I set it aside to dry, and I will use that for a future card. For the shaker portion of the card, what I did before I put this double-sided roll tape down, I put another piece of the acetate over top, and I put 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape on top of that acetate, lay down another piece of acetate so that when I put the glitter on it, it's not going to affect the actual stamp, right? Because I've got a piece of acetate covering it. That's why I cut out 3 pieces. And now I'll take the back off this, and it's going to be too high. So it's not going to be, what I keep doing this, right? It's not going to be too high. It's going to be 2 layers high. There you go. And once I get it off my fingers, I'm going to put another layer. And isn't the picture with the alcohol ink stunning? It just, bam, it just stands out so wonderfully behind this window. And it, with the shaker elements inside, it's absolutely beautiful. And see how you get, there's the, this is kind of like a holograph type shaker. I get these at Michael's. You get 5 different colors in one bottle. And I used this one, but then I realized I want to put some copper in there. So I lifted the bottom corner up here and I just sprinkled, yeah, look at my big hand there in the way, but I knew it needed some more elements because of having that lip on the bottom of the window so that you could see it, you know, a little bit. And then we're going to work on putting the actual penny black wreath on the top. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just stunning. I just love this wreath die. You'll notice that I put the gold underneath the silver, and then I moved the silver just a tad to the left, just so that it wasn't exact on top of one another. And I ended up using the foil, the gold foil. And now guess what? Look what I'm doing. I'm taking my Coca-Cola tin. Yes, I die cut a circle out of my Coca-Cola pop can, and I am cutting 1/8 inch circles out of it. Look at that. And they're going to be little berries because I wanted to have a red element of cardstock behind this because it is a Christmas card. So I thought, okay, how am I going to do that? And I wanted to go with the shiny foil effect, and what better way than to take my Coca-Cola can and die cut a circle out and then punch out these 1/8 little dots, and you get the shiny from the pop can, and it goes exactly on the foil shiny design, and it has that element of dimension when you pop it up with the multi-medium glue. And I think it's absolutely the prettiest little window ever, especially with using alcohol inks on a background with trees. So pretty. And here's my Stampin' Up! Punch. I take that little wee heart out of the pop can circle, and I'm going to put that on the top of the card to, because of the element that I'm going to use on the inside of the card, I wanted to have a heart on the outside, and I think it just added to that bow. It popped that red out wonderfully. And isn't that just stunning? I think it's so feminine. It's so beautiful. And now I tried to get this into frame for you. I just couldn't. But trust me, it's basil Christmas red cardstock. Yeah. And then I used the wonky dies from, I think it's My Favorite Things. And you just get the stitched wonky edges all the way around. I had 12 by 12 silver sheet. This is called Dull Silver. It's from the Martha Stewart 12 by 12 Essential Pack. And that I got some time ago as well at Michael's. Now I'm trying to find placement for this Memory Box Beloved Heart die. Isn't it pretty? It's so delicate. And then you could die cut that and use it as a bow and the heart separately. So I used my 1/2 inch ATG gun to put this down the wonky flat silver die cut, and there it is. Isn't it pretty? And then my multi-medium glue worked really well to put it at the top. And you know what works really well as well? Is my sleeve. Isn't that pathetic? Yeah. I didn't want to waste time going to get a paper towel, so I thought, why not? Use my sleeve. Yeah, so I did. And now I'm going to die cut from my black cardstock. Now let me tell you, this black cardstock is from Michaels, 110 pound. It compares to my 140 pound cardstock. It is the thickest black cardstock I have found on the market. And it's from Michaels. If you can get it, stock up because it's beautiful. And make sure, yeah, look at that. Even editing, it's embarrassing to look at. But it works, hey, if it works. And this multi-medium glue, it washes out wonderfully. Don't worry about it. Yeah, and then I didn't even lose the dot. I put that on the Christmas, and I think it's stunning. Getting serious, this is Stampenda's Spoonful of Snow Powder and Elements. It's embossing snow. And if you see, it says sprinkle, mix on paper, no ink required at all. You sprinkle it down and only gravity keeps it there until melted, and it works. Use your heat tool from underneath your paper to melt the powder. I got this as a gift from my wonderful friend from Australia, Tanya Smith. Hey Tanya, she is the most giving, wonderful friend. She sent me 2 packages of this, and I couldn't wait to use it. And it's like you get the embossing effect of embossing powder, but you get this glitter. And I didn't know whether it would melt through 2 thick layers of cardstock. It did. I'm holding my Milwaukee heat tool straight up and putting it over top because I didn't want, if it wasn't going to work, I didn't want it to blow off all over the place. So I kind of held it out where my garbage can was. And then I came in on it because I could tell it was melting wonderfully. And wait till you see it. So I decide right here to pounce it down. Hardly any came off. This, I don't know where you got this, Tanya, but it is amazing. It would make for wonderful snow. It's made by Stampenda's, and I just thank you very much, my friend. Look at it. It's got such dimension. I'm going to use this on a lot of projects, and it was wonderfully kind. Tanya sent me a beautiful gift package, and this was in it. And now I'm going to put my wonky flat Martha Stewart paper piece on the front with my 1/2-inch ATG gun. That gold tape is wonderful. It won't come up. And here's my shaker. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? The shaker bits are so sweet. They're heart, bronze, shiny bits, and stars that are like an opal color. They're really pretty. And then I'm going to use my Sue Quang double-sided tape, 1/16 inch, to go all the way around. It's really thin, but I tell you, it has suction power. It's a wonderful double-sided tape if you're looking for a thin tape that will hold things down for good. You're not going to have to worry about losing that shaker. Once we get this down and I remove the tape on it, we are just about finished, my friends. And like I said before, thank you very much for your wonderful support for my videos. Thank you for all the comments on my previous video, Who's Behind the Hands. I sure had fun making that, and I look forward to making another card project for you. This is a wonderful Christmas card. I think it has so many pretty elements, but yet it's not a difficult card. So I hope it inspired you, and if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments section. I'm going to leave some pictures at the end of the video, and I hope you are inspired by this shaker card. It has a lot of sweet elements in it, and you get to use alcohol inks as well, and that beautiful new Stampenda's embossing powder. Okay, have yourself a blessed week, and take care, everybody.